Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so what is this about? This is about mindset. That's what this day is about. That's what this game is about. Lakers, Game 5 at Chase Center, going up against the Golden State Warriors, the defending world champions. We're up 3-1. We took care of business in Game 4 in such a way that will never be forgotten. Lonnie Walker, the fourth, came through in the fourth wearing number 4. And it was just unbelievable how we called his number in Game 4 to just overall just close it. I mean, that was the moment he was waiting for his entire life. You can clearly see the numerology was all set up perfectly, and he came through and delivered with 16 big points, either 15 or 16 points in the fourth quarter, and was just ultimately phenomenal for the Los Angeles Lakers. I got the stats right here, so we don't have to be mistaken. Our guy went for exactly 15 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals with a +8, 6 for 9 field goals, 1 of 3 threes, and hit both of his free throw shots for the LA Lakers in the fourth quarter, where he just completely closed out the champs and helped his team to that 3-1 lead that we so desperately wanted. And now we have an opportunity to close them out, and most people are picking us to lose. In fact, Vegas has us as a -7, I think. So they're a 7-point favorite, and that is something that we got to take personally because we've already shown that we can win, obviously, 3 more times than they have. And we're still not getting the respect that we feel we deserve. Hell, I can't say I'm much better. I picked us to win in 6, but that was before I got a chance to look at 5 games of this thing. Or rather 4, of course. But nevertheless, we're in this position because we have taken the word effort seriously. We didn't get into a shootout with the Golden State Warriors. We didn't confuse them with a team that only wants to shoot threes, but more so a team that would rather get in the paint, and we forced them out of the paint and asked them to shoot a lot of 3-point shots, to which they ain't really hit too many of them in this series. When they did shoot 50%, the one time they did, they beat us. But the rest of the times, the percentages have shown that the lesser percentage shot is, in fact, going to fall less of the time. And so 2 is better than 3, as we found out in this league. When you have 6 fouls to try to manage, it's very, very difficult to keep those shooters on the floor when they're undersized to begin with. So this whole situation is botched for the Golden State Warriors. They got too many shooters and not enough size. And they can maneuver their team around as much as they want, but at the end of the day, as I said from the beginning of the series and every game since, they don't have enough. And through 4 games, we've proven that. Now, what we have to do is go out there and not wet the bed in Game 5, where we know they're going to be more desperate. We know they're going to do more math, more geometry. They're going to do more things to try to make us uncomfortable as possible with what it is that they can do, with every bit of the history and the wisdom that they've picked up along the way as 4-time NBA champions. They're going to bring out all the stops. But at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you what I think is really happening to the Golden State Warriors. They're just falling victim to being tired. They have played a 7-game series against the Sacramento Kings and then proceeded to have, 1 or 2 days off before beginning this series, as to which they would only have 1 day off in between each game. It's just not enough rest for 30-year-old guys who have to be shooting shots, and that's what it is. They asked Steph Curry to shoot 14 shots from behind the arc in the previous game, and he only hit 3 of them. So that's tired legs, if you ask me. He was still absolutely phenomenal with 31 points, 10 boards, 14 assists, 3 steals at a +1. But the +1 comes from him bricking so many threes, and that's really what it comes down to. He was 12 for 30 from behind, from the field, and he really didn't get a whole lot of help from too many other areas. And so we were able to take advantage. You know, as phenomenal as he was, and he was the best player on the floor for a good portion of the game, at the end of the day, you just need more than 1 or 2 guys going off. And when you look at the box score, you see that they were asking others to do more, and it just wasn't happening. Draymond Green gave him 8 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 5 turnovers. I listened to his podcast, and what he was had a lot to say about the game and overall how it went. And you know, I just felt like, you know, he's trying his best to, with his platform and with his voice, try to plant the seeds necessary to more or less try to get into our heads, I feel. Anybody watch his podcast, maybe you took a different thing, but he said some little stuff like every time he said Lonnie Walker's name, he had a little chuckle as if, you're not expecting Lonnie to do nothing. And if Lonnie Walker beats them, that's something they're going to go for. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, that type of disrespect, I guess Lonnie got to go out there and show you again. That kind of thing. Or it was something that he said along the lines about D'Lo. He said something along the lines of we did a good job on D'Lo. Speaking of how D'Lo had, missed shots. He was like, we did a good job of stopping D'Lo and neutralizing him. I don't remember the words he used, but he didn't give credence to the fact that D'Lo didn't have a single turnover. He didn't have a single turnover. You know what I mean? In this situation, at all. You know what I mean? He missed shots. 1 for 10, 0 for 4 from behind the arc, but it wasn't like their defense was ultimately forcing him into giving them the ball. He got the shots he wanted. And then he mentioned that in regards to one of his own players. He was like, oh, we got the shots we wanted, gave no credence to our defense stifling the hell out of his players. So I'm just looking at the situation. I'm like, all right, I get it, bro. I get it. I understand what's going on here. And I pick up on that energy, and I make sure I just give it as bulletin material to my team. You know what I mean? If little slide jabs, slide remarks, we understand that's a wounded dog on his last leg. And he understands that he's up against something he probably shouldn't be able to beat. So he has to do anything and everything he can, whether it be, that or, trying to hurt somebody, out there, whatever he got to do to try to create dissension between us. And so that's not going to work. And we're on top of it. That's pretty much what I'm here to say. We got to do a much better job of getting them also off the offensive glass. And that's going to directly affect Draymond Green. We got to box him out better, force him into more of those turnovers. He led his team in that. And we just want to continue to see that. We want to see him get stifled and his numbers come back down to where they were in Game 3, because that's really where we want him to be. 2 points, 1 assist, all that. That's more along the lines we want. In Game 2, I think he had almost a triple-double. Game 4 here, he looks like he almost had a triple-double. We got to go back down to stifling him in Game 5. We neutralize him. I think we'll go a long way in slowing this team down. Moses Moody, we got to keep an eye on players that have been playing well. Moses Moody and GP have been playing well for this team. And much was said about GP before the game, how they were going to start him, and then much was said after the game about how they did not necessarily want that information released, and they may have a leak or something. I don't know how much of that is true, but there's just a lot of weird news going on with Golden State that just speaks to more dissension within them while they're trying to plant seeds that would kind of separate us. We know that they've done more damage to themselves. So we just continue to watch that unfold as it does. And, it won't be no love lost here, man. I respect the Warriors, but at this point, I just understand we're a better team. You know what I mean? And I watch what the media is saying and what everybody's saying, essentially. And I'm taking exception to it. As we go into the situation, I believe that it's not that we've dominated this team. I think most of the games have shown that both teams have been fairly close, even though we're up 3-1. But at the end of the day, I just say, at the end of the day, we won these games. You know what I mean? We've won these games. We put ourselves in a position to dominate this team. We came into this series humble and still dominated this team after dominating them in a regular season, dominating them last year. We dominate the Golden State Warriors when we get a chance to, with Anthony Davis and LeBron James on the court. And I just don't see the respect that's being earned by our team. Least of all from the media or the new media or whoever else wants to talk crazy about the Lakers. So that's really where my head is today. on the wrong side of the bed with a chip on my shoulder as it pertains to my team not getting the respect that I think that we've earned through 3 games against the champs, 4 games rather. And I think that the only thing that's going to give us the respect that we deserve is if we close them out tonight. Everybody expects us to lose. Even I picked them, as I've already said. But at the end of the day, now that we're here, I think the team should feel like I do and want to go up to Golden State, not only to close them out, but to shut people up. LeBron James has been called old in these playoffs, been disrespected. Anthony Davis, people have been talking about his woes and all of these different things that haven't worked out in regards to him being on the court throughout the season. Here he is dominating. Didn't get one single vote for Defensive Player of the Year. All these different things that we should just be taking exception to. And I mean, people calling Austin Reeves saying he need to be benched. You know what I mean? Saying that his game is off. I told y'all at the beginning of the series, Austin Reeves is going to have more difficult time with the defense ahead of him. Not only because he was exiting the Memphis series a little banged up, but he was going up against GP and Wiggins and Klay Thompson who were going to give him hell. But as the series progressed, he's shown us that he's shaking out of that slump, and I think he's going to have a very big night tonight in Chase Center, and he's going to help shut this team down. Dennis Schroeder starting to break out of his slump as well. He had a bad playoffs leading up to this second half of this particular series, and over the last couple of games has found ways of trying to contribute to his team. Hopefully he can get back to consistency, because him at plus 14, contributing 10 points on high efficiency is what the Los Angeles Lakers need from him, on top of the free throw shooting that's missing there. So we're going to need him to give us more points on the road tonight. We can't have a no-show from DS. Another thing that I think is worth saying is Draymond Green pointed out how Vando only had 11 minutes. Essentially, that he was pointing that out, saying that was something that I guess he could credit his team for removing Vando from the series. I don't know if I picked up on that properly or not, but I took exception to it anyway, so I put that on the bulletin board material, on the board for us to use as material rather. I don't think Vando's going to get a lot of minutes, but he can do a lot of damage in a short amount of time, just like a lot of our guys can do. Rui Hachimura needs to be used more. I would love to see us unleash Rui on them tonight, since he's been killing them on the road, at home, wherever we use him. He's been winning the matchup battle against whoever, basically. So with him sitting at 14 minutes, all I say is I'm appreciating the fact that he's well rested, because we clearly see what a well rested Lonnie Walker can do for us. So anybody else that we're not using, that's the plus side. They're getting the rest. I don't know if I love that or not, but nevertheless, I'm looking at all of this and I'm saying, LBJ, you should be taking exception to all this, not only as it pertains to what people are saying, but to how he's played. He ain't played well in these playoffs. Let's just be honest. He has not had a good playoffs for his standards. Defensively, yeah, but just for his standards overall efficiently, nah, he's looking bad. He's shooting 22% from behind the arc, and he should be mad at the production. He should be mad at how he's looked. He should be taking exception to all of it. You know what I mean? And people calling him old and stuff like that. It's time to come out here and play an efficient basketball game and not let the three-point shot kick you down. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. He's settling for the three-point shot. He's telling himself he can't live without it for whatever reason, and he's leaving himself without the possessions. Listening to someone talk about Jimmy Butler, for example, I don't remember who it was that was speaking about him. I've been listening to a lot of talk. But the one thing they were saying was he makes sure that no matter what, his team gets a good possession every possession. That's his superpower, so to speak. I don't remember who it was I was just listening to, but this was the nugget I took from them. And that's what I want to see from LeBron James. We got to take every possession more seriously. We tend to look at quarters as if some possessions can be thrown away, other possessions can be taken seriously. It's like whatever. We tend to turn the ball over. Oh, well, I think we need to zero in on this perfection and the detail of each and every possession and try to make sure that we account for all of them every night and not be cool with throwing away any possessions at all. And if we take this particular game that way, with that type of motivation and mindset, I don't think Golden State Warriors can win tonight. I don't think they can win in any gym against a team that has this personnel on it, that has that mindset against them, because we have these advantages, and that's really what it comes down to. They're counting on us to make mistakes. They're counting on us to get hurt. They're counting on us to get in foul trouble. They're counting on us to flop and get called for offensive fouls and doing so or what have you. They're hoping that we'll find ourselves in a position to make the mistakes that they made, throwing the ball away, being laissez-faire with throwing threes all over the place. They need us to make mistakes in order for us to ultimately lose. They can play their best basketball, but if we play our best basketball, we beat them. And that's really what it comes down to. Every lead that they get, every time they have a momentum, anything, we just cut it off. We shut it off. Defensively, we're doing what we got to do. And even when we don't find ourselves schematically in a position to look better than them, we're still managing to find something that can help us win these games, and that's exactly what Game 4 was about. All the stats tell you the Lakers were off. We shot one less, made one less field goal than them. That's how that goes. Both attempted 86. They had one more than us. And so that's one of those situations where it's like you see how close it was. The percentages from behind the arc were similar, even though they shot almost twice as much. The free throw discrepancy was the difference. We had 20 free throws. They had 12, and we hit all of ours. They missed 3. So these are the type of things you're looking at. The rebound in total was only two rebounds difference. The offensive rebounding, 1 difference. defensive rebound, and 3 difference. So close. And they had us in such a way with the assist category that they had +8 on us. So it's like it's a lot of stuff that didn't have it so that the Lakers were favored at all, but still managed to win the game. They had 1 more steal than us, 1 more block than us. We had 2 less turnovers, so we like that. But I mean, where we really kicking their butt, and it's going to continue to be the case, is points off of turnovers. We had 13 in this game. I think we had like 27 in the last game. So we just need to make sure that we get in transition and do well. And then in this particular game, we allowed them 20 points off of our 14 turnovers. So we got to keep them out of transition and do a much better job of that in Game 5 in order to be successful. So that's really where we regressed there. Our transition protection, I guess is what you could say, did kind of regress from Game 3 to Game 4. So if that regression continues, it'll definitely cater to our failure tonight. So we got to reset that. But all in all, you just got to love the free throw, perfection. When you consider the fact that we've had games where we've missed 8 free throws as a team, missed 7 free throws as a team, you definitely lose this game if you do that. You know what I mean? You definitely lose this game if you do that. So that's really what needs to be said. Let's stay confident from the free throw line. We've worked out some of the issues that we had a couple weeks ago with that, and we should be proud of ourselves for where we are in regards to the free throw line. So I'm encouraged, man. When I look at the course of this series, what I realize is that the Golden State Warriors benefited from the reality of the fact that the Los Angeles Lakers had about 3 or 4 players that normally play well for us that started this series pretty much in a damn slump. D'Lo was in a slump. LeBron James is in a slump. Anthony Davis is in a slump. DS is in a slump. It's actually more than 3. Austin Reeves was in a slump. All these guys were kind of either playing bad or playing iffy going into the series. And as these games have progressed, these guys have started to play better. Anthony Davis has worked out his problems in regards to offensively on these even night games, rather. Right? He played well in Game 4, gave us 23 points, 15 rebounds, and was an intricate part of the defense as always. Hit all of his free throws, which is pretty dang key if you've been following our team close enough. You look at LBJ, even though the 3-point and the field goal percentages were terrible, you look at his free throw percentages, you say you love that, and then you look at his 3 turnovers, and realize those are the only turnovers he's had in the last 3 games. You know what I'm saying? So you look at that, and it's like he's been working that out after being cold from behind the arc and cold. He's been able to find himself with the turnovers. So when you consider they can't seem to get the ball out of his hands, that's really catered to why we have 3 wins in this series, despite the inefficiency. So it's like certain things, it's like if his 3 starts to fall and he keeps this turnover low stuff going on, while still hitting his free throws like this, you can just see he's going to get better as the playoffs progresses. And as I told you guys, Austin Reeves, he's been banged up. He's just getting in better shape. And the experience that he got playing against these guys through the first 4 games of this series, has made him a better player. That's what I'm here to tell you. I think Austin Reeves is going to exit this series a lot more ready for the intensity of what's coming. After chasing around Steph Curry, being chased around by Clay and all these guys, having them bump him left and right, the physicality has been real, and he now knows what playoff basketball is all about, and is coming off his best playoff game. I think it's definitely the best game in the series, where he hit 50% from behind the arc, 100% from the free throw line, and only had 2 turnovers credited to his name, while giving us 21 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists. So his production in this last game is just improving as the series is progressing. He's getting in healthier, and he appears to be breaking out of the slumps. So it's like that's something to pay attention to. And then, D'Lo, we're struggling with D'Lo, but again, we're happy he didn't turn the ball over. And so if he starts clicking it, if he starts getting it together like he's capable of, like he did in Game 3 or whatever game that was, you're looking at this team being even better. So it's a lot of stuff that the Golden State Warriors have been able to benefit from, and they haven't been able to capitalize on. Us kind of struggling, Vanderbilt not really able to find his offense in most of these games, us lowering Rui's minutes inexplicably, knowing that we could have went to that more so. It's just a lot of stuff that I could just say, you know what, we've been trying our best to strategize against a Golden State Warrior team that doesn't necessarily comfortably match up against us, even though we have these advantages against them. And as a result, we've kind of struggled with that while simultaneously still being successful as a collective. So you got to realize how good of your team we are when you consider how we've had to adjust to this and have still been able to win. What does that speak to when we do have better matchups? What does that speak to when we do have other teams that are not as good as Golden State coming up against us in 7-game series? You just got to love where we're at. But we have to seal the deal by not coughing up this 3-1 lead. We have to seal the deal by being as good of a team as to close this team out when you have the advantage we do on the road, and not dropping game 5 like we did in the last series. Learning from that mistake and coming in, not leaving so many holes open for you to get beat with. And we did it on purpose. Everybody who follows me knows I believe we did that on purpose because we won a game 6 in our house. But if we're growing as a basketball team and as an organization, we learn that lesson. We appreciated having game 6, and we'll sacrifice a game 6 in this series for a chance to move on and play the Denver Nuggets or the Phoenix Suns with a lot more rest attached to us. So that's what we need. That's what I think we're going to do. I picked the Lakers to win this series in 6. It's always bad luck to change your pick. But I'll just assume I was wrong tonight before the game and just tell you guys that I'm ready to be wrong about that. I've seen enough to know that we can beat this team tonight. We can beat them in their house. We already have game 1. So there's no question in my mind that we can go out here and do the same thing tonight. I know they're going to give us their best punch, but I also know they're tired. Now, here's the deal. If we go in here thinking that we can win this series without playing our best basketball, or if we can go in here and not give the effort necessary, then we will understand that we're betraying the entire path that led up to this point. The 2-10 record, the Russell Westbrook, Beverly, small ball days, everything that led up to it. We're betraying all of it because this has been a very long season. And this is a do-or-die moment where we have the cushion of a 3-1 lead in the second round. And when you start giving that away by dropping games, you start betraying what it is that journey has been all the way up until this point. Now, the journey for the Golden State Warriors, we can't speak to that. That's their team. But one thing I do know from afar is that they've had some dissension that they've had internally, and they've imploded, and all of that has a lot to do with things that are not going to hurt us in this series. We can benefit from the dissension and the frustration of their long-term season nonsense. Punching people, players disappearing, overvalued contracts, the difference between one side of the team being this age and the next side of the team being very young. This is a lot of stuff, man. There's a lot of stuff there with Draymond Green kicking people, putting knees on people, all different stuff. You can still understand that they have a lot of that they have to overcome. And this is not a year they're supposed to be winning the championship. And the only way that they will win the championship is if these Los Angeles Lakers come into this particular basketball game and don't play hard enough to put them away. That's what it really comes down to. We've played hard all season long. We need to play hard tonight. And if we do, this team is not going to have as much energy as we do. And that's it. Lonnie Walker put a real punch to them. He stabbed them hard with that 15 points in the fourth quarter, hitting jumpers like Kobe or Mike or somebody, closing that game out. And I could not be more proud of him for how hard he worked all season long to put himself in a position to be ready for that moment. We're going to need him to continue to have confidence, and we're going to need him to have balance to understand that just like you had the big night last night, you can have a big night tonight by doing things that help the team in regards to your energy. After a night like that, a guy think he has to come out and score 50. If he goes out and goes 3 for 14, that's going to negate a lot of what he did right in the last game. So for Lonnie, we know he's going to get the minutes now. You got to shine, brother, just like you did in the last game. And not heap the pressure on yourself to keep that up. You don't have to keep that up. We just got to have you play smart, and we got to have you mesh with the rest of the team and continue to be a good defensive cog to our unit. If for some reason he comes out and is overzealous and is cold and launches a bunch of shots and we lose because of it, then we're going to forget all about what he did right in Game 4. So we just got to have him play well, but also we got to make sure our coach understands that this is not a cue for you to give all the shots to Lonnie Walker. This ain't that. Lonnie caught them off guard because we hadn't been using it. And the most important thing is to get back to what it is that we do normally in this series that gets us in this situation. Because we called on Lonnie when we needed him. And that's it. because we made that mistake with Malik Beasley when he went crazy, and we fail when we do that. That's not a cue to say, okay, that guy's our star. That guy's not our star. That guy's still exactly who he was before we called his number, and we can call him again when we need him. But as long as we think we're not an AD, LeBron James, Austin Reeves, Dennis Schroeder, D'Lo team, we're fooling ourselves. That's the meat and potatoes of what we do, and we got to get back to that and stick to that. And Lonnie's just another piece that we can use the way that we did last night, and we know what he can do. I'm glad he's in rotation, but I don't want us to get to this point where we start thinking he's Kobe and he shoots us out of basketball games, because we've been that kind of stupid at times. We really have. Don't do it tonight. So that's just what it is. It's about balance, man. Balance and understanding that the team goal is to win this game. Our timeline is right now. Any game we lose is betraying that timeline. Period. Anthony Davis has been phenomenal. He played 43 minutes in the last game. LBJ played 43 minutes in the last game. That's a lot of minutes. So I expect they're going to play a lot of minutes tonight, but hopefully that will be the end of this series, because I don't want them continuing to have to play 43 minutes and then 1 day's rest, 43 minutes, 1 day's rest. You're going to look up and be in Game 7 in no time, which is why we need to bring the urgency necessary to win this game, because just like life came at the Warriors fast, because of the way this thing is set up, it can come at us fast too. So y'all better believe it. If we don't come out here with the right attitude, or we think this is last series, you don't have a lot of time to consider what Game 6 is going to be. It's going to be on your doorstep before you realize it. So that's why this series must end tonight. We got to end this series tonight with the urgency of a Game 7, because that is what is necessary with only 1 day's rest between games. Do not extend this series anymore. We're better than this team. But rest can even the score, okay? When lack of rest, rather, can make it so that we're just as tired as they are right now. We're not. So let's just be honest about that. So that's really what it is, man. I don't know if they're going to lean back into Kevon Looney. He's obviously been killing it all series long, and they removed him for schematic reasons, and they're not better for it. Let's just be real. They're not better for some of the adjustments that they've made to try to beat us. They're still losing. It's just the reality of it. Klay Thompson, I'm confused. In Game 2, he couldn't miss. In every other game, he's been horrible. I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know, but I'm happy about it. GP2 hasn't missed very much. They ain't really used him that much. We already talked about how they wanted to start him and the whole thing. Andrew Wiggins has been a steady player for them all series long, so we need to be wise that he's going to do everything he can to play well, and we expect that since he's at home, he's going to play well. All these role players that didn't hit shots on the road, they're going to hit him at home. Don't expect Jordan Poole to not play well if he's given minutes. I don't know if they're going to give him any minutes, but if they give him minutes, I expect for him to play a lot better than we've seen him play pretty much since Game 1. We know what he can do. At this point, he's an underrated player, honestly. Dante DiVincenzo, same thing. His efficiency has been high. He's been getting to the rack. They just haven't been giving him a lot of attempts, and it's probably for the betterment of us that they don't. So let's just keep an eye on the guys who are actually playing well while they continue to lean into the people that are not. Because that's exactly what's happening there. You got Dante, you got Moody, you got Wiggins, you got GP really doing the work. And you got Klay, you got Dre, you got Poole as the guys they want to do everything. And of course, Steph is always Steph, so there's no problem there. At the end of the day, man, it's a weird feeling, to be honest with you, because there's two split minds in regards to how I view my channel and how I present to you what it is that I'm feeling. What I'm feeling right now is absolute overjoyed Laker bliss. I'm a happy Laker fan that is feeling the urgency to end this series tonight. What I'm also feeling as an analyst is somebody who looks at the Golden State Warriors and just feels a little irritated looking at their world. I'm irritated with it. I'm ready for them to go home now. That's the reality of it. I'm ready for them to go home. 5 games is enough of them. I'm sick of it. I don't like 3-point shooting basketball like this. I don't. I respect Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Those guys are legends. They've earned it and they've gotten it the right way. But I just hate what the game has become because of their era. Now it's like everybody wants to launch. And it's just been an age-old debate about which style is more conducive to winning. And I just think that this series is the end of that debate in my mind. And that's why I want us to finish it in 5, because I really want us to annihilate this 3-point crap and kind of shift the league back to combo stuff. Interior pressure on the rim, defensive teams that can shoot, you know what I mean? Since there's more hybrid players that can do those things. But to just lean all $150 million on nothing but shooting, may this be the very end of that. And that's really what it is for me. It ain't personal. I don't like what they've done to the era, man. I hate what they've done to the era. What we do, the Lakers do, is real basketball to me. What they do is a style that can work when people shoot like Klay and Steph. But only a few people can, and when other people duplicate the style, it makes for bad basketball, in my opinion. And so that's what it's done. I don't like it. I know they believe in it. I believe they believe in it more so than what it is that we do. And if they had more personnel that helped them against us, it would then make it so that their debate or their side of the fence would be a stronger argument. I think that's what is unfortunate for them, that they just can't get nothing out of Jordan Poole. You know what I'm saying? If he was playing his greatest ball right now with the limited minutes that they're giving him, it would change the debate entirely. If he could hit every three he took, there you go. You know what I'm saying? But so I ain't saying the debate is completely over in regards to the styles, but I just think at the end of the day, if there's only 6 fouls, then you can get in foul trouble. And therefore, you can't do this. That's what it comes down to. If you remove foul trouble, then the 3-point conversation becomes an entirely different one. Because now my argument is you're never going to get those 3-point shooters off the floor so they can keep spreading the floor no matter what you do. And 3 will indeed be more than 2 so long as those 3-point shooters are shooting a great deal of threes with a fast pace, which these guys are definitely going to do. So at the end of the day, I just want us to beat this team for a multitude of reasons, no more than I've been a Laker fan my whole life. But also because I really do want to do away with the Golden State Warriors. I would like to see that end. Period. And let's usher into the stilts era where everybody's like 7 foot tall with like 8 foot wingspan. That's better ball for me. And then from there you can shoot threes because everybody's going to be out of the paint anyway because those stilts are going to keep you out of there, as to which you're going to have to do all this Steph Curry stuff anyway. So it'll be fine. Anyway, so that's what I got to say about everything, man. I'm not entirely excited about seeing a Game 6, so I'm really hopeful that my team brings the urgency necessary to put a nail in the Golden State Warrior coffin, honestly. And from there, hopefully get the rest that we need to keep on trucking along in the Western Conference, because that's really who we are. We are the team to beat right now, especially if we do away with these dudes in 5. But if we start showing old traits of being let's relax, let's exhale, we got a cushion now, so we can win it in 6. It's okay. If that's going to be our attitude, that is the weakness that beats us. That's why we're not champs. You feel me? That's what it really comes down to. It ain't no other thing than the Lakers beating themselves. It's the Lakers putting the wrong players on the floor. It's the Lakers having the wrong attitude. It's the Lakers playing with the wrong pace. It's the Lakers not believing in each other, looking at each other side-eyed, not wanting to slap hands. That's when the Lakers lose. It's not the other team that usually beats the Lakers. Not this far into the game. Nah, it's us that beats us by paying too much respect to them, not believing that we can beat them on their home court just because they've won a bunch of championships. They don't have the players we got. They can't beat us if we do what we're supposed to do and don't let them. You know what I'm saying? That's what it really comes down to. So if we come in here with that type of mindset, withstand whatever runs they go on and get a little 10-point lead, we erase it like we have been all series long. We put ourselves in a position to have that type of demonstrative determination and effort, and same type of laser focus that we've had through 4 games of this series, and we're going to finish them off in this game just like we did in the first couple of games that we won this series. You know what I'm saying? The tendencies are there. Whether they're playing well, we're playing well or not, the tendencies are in place. So that's really what it is. I want my team to have an urgency about beating this team for pride, for rest, for legacy, for LeBron versus Steph's legacy, all of this. We need to put this team away. They don't need an extra game or nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's really how I feel. Draymond Green is bitter. He's mad. He's trying to do whatever he can do to try to get in our heads. And I'm telling you, he is throwing rocks at a wall. We don't feel it. It ain't nothing. Tell you right now, none of it is anything. At the end of the day, the Los Angeles Lakers have 17 NBA championships, and that is not enough. 17 ain't enough. And the Warriors are in the way. So that's really what I got to say, man. That's it. I picked the Lakers to win this series in 6, and I look very much forward to coming back to you guys at the end of Game 5, telling you how wrong I was and how proud I am of my team for duking it out and bringing the necessary effort needed to close out the NBA champions. And at that point, I will tell you that I think we're going to be NBA champions. BDL 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.